Thank you very much, Kostin. AHK is a bilateral chamber of commerce, German-Romanian chamber. German-Romanian bilateral relation stands for, let's say, almost 30 billion of bilateral trade, around 13 billion of direct investments, 250 direct employments, etc. So it's a let's say a visible footprint in the Romanian economy. We have around 7,500 German companies here in Romania, or companies with a German capital injection, capital participation. And most of these German companies are located, like Adrian mentioned it already a little bit. It is based in the western and central parts of Romania, to a certain extent also in the southern parts where the economic hubs are, and of course in Bucharest. And unfortunately until now to a less extent in the eastern and southeastern parts. This is definitely something that we have to focus commonly together on in the next year to intensify actually economic activities, at least from the German companies also in this part. Today we are talking about the manufacturing industry on this wonderful forum. Thank you very much, UNUTS, for organizing this year, the Demo Metall in the virtual space. Lots of success for you and those who are attending your conference and your virtual trade fair. I was asked to give a very short overview about the measures adopted in Germany in order to support the industry. So to compare maybe a little bit what kind of activities Germany has done. It is just a very, very short overview because it is quite complex and quite big what Germany had in place, but I found some information, and then I will give you a glimpse of how Corona impacted the German companies in Romania, and then of course some challenges that are still to be faced by the German companies in Romania, a little bit more general aspects I will mention in this regard. So let's have a look on what Germany has done. This is in Germany. I do not want to elaborate very much on this slide, but you can see there are on the left part some social measures or socially measures which were taken by the German state, and some fiscal measures on the right side. And some banking, financial measures, I would say, fiscal and banking measures. And I will concentrate on two things, actually. First of all, of course, there was also this kind of bridging aid, we call it, Überbrückungshilfe, that German companies received from various angles, from the banking system, direct aid, ads for the self-employed, ad also for the non-profit corporation and organization. So these were these were altogether some financial direct support for the German companies. Of course, we had also all the measures in the tax-related field, some tax deferrals, so that companies were a little bit more relaxed when it comes to tax payment. And then the third thing here on this slide, I want to concentrate a little bit more and to say that this could also be a measure that can be adopted by Romania. It's a so-called Ausbildungsprämie. It's a kind of training bonus, but it's not a bonus. It's a support, because in Germany, you know that the dual professional education system is quite well established, and it is very, very important actually in Germany to have skilled workforce. Lots of German companies in the Corona times were under pressure financially, and they were at least, yeah, let's say, they were also under pressure in order to continue or to accept new apprenticeships. The German government said this is a very, very important aspects that the companies has to support, has to continue actually the apprenticeship programs inside the companies, and they realized they built up several measures actually to support German companies in order to carry on their vocational training in the respective companies. So this is something that, as far as I know, Romania has not adapted. The vocational training here in Romania is maybe not at the same size, but nevertheless, we are talking about 30,000, 36,000 of pupils who are currently in the education, professional education programs. And this is something that might help, of course, also these companies who are in the program. It is not only a Corona program, it can be also implemented here in Romania when the Corona pandemic is over, in order to boost actually to this vocational training programs here in Romania, in order to help the companies to build up such programs and yeah, to financially support the companies actually. Then there's another thing also already mentioned by Adrian, Kurzarbeit. It exists in Germany since 110 years. So 110 years, not 10 years, so 110 years. As a German Chamber of Commerce, we are also very delighted and very happy that the Romanian government adopted this kind of support scheme here in Romania. Of course, there are already supporting schemes like the chômage technique in place, but the flexibility and the innovative approach, I would say, of Kurzarbeit is quite unique, and it was also supported by the European Union. In Germany, as I said, it exists already since 110 years, and of course, it was widely used also in the pandemics by German companies. In April, for example, in April 2020, so 1 year ago, there were more than 6 million employees in the Kurzarbeit scheme. So, then this was a peak actually, and then it fell slowly. Right now we have, I think, around 2.5 employees still in this short Kurzarbeit scheme, mainly those companies who are in the HoReCa industry. Yeah, Germany spent until now 100 billion euros for financially supporting the companies in Germany, and an additional 30 billion euros for Kurzarbeit. I heard analysts or speakers saying that this is approximately the same amount which has been lost by the Corona measures, by the lockdown measures on the industry. So roughly the same GDP loss was injected by state measures into the German economy. That was it actually, a glimpse of activities. As I said, I highlighted the training bonus and the Kurzarbeiter scheme. Yeah, how did Corona impacted the German companies in Romania? You know, as a bilateral chamber of commerce, we are not only focusing on manufacturing industry, although in our let's say economic structure here in Romania, the manufacturing industry has a major role in terms of investment in direct employment and turnover. But nevertheless, we have also lots of German companies in the service sector, and the construction, and the retail, and wholesale, and the logistics, etc. It is not a surprise for you, I would say, that in the manufacturing industry, of course, the months of April, May, June were very challenging. Especially also the logistical challenge which appeared actually, so to transport the goods. But actually, I would say in July, August, and in September, most of the companies were actually back to almost normal business. What this industry is affected indirectly, let's say, is a decline in the customer orders. There could be, but I do not think it's a long-lasting effect. But there will be definitely change in the consumption patterns, which this industry will indirectly be affected by. In the service sector, they were not so much hindered, as you all know, to perform their service activity right now. Still, the biggest problem of the sector is this travel ban, or the problems actually to travel to perform the service on the spot. This is still quite hindering for this sector. But I think the biggest challenge for this sector is, of course, the digitalization of the business model, which in some parts boosted, but in some parts, those companies who were not ready, they are lagging behind. Construction and material processing, of course, they were not they were not very much hindered to perform the activities. Actually, it was a boost for them. Right now, what we expect is an increase of the business due to the public tenders, due to the European programs, the Recovery and Resilience funds, or the other European funds, which will definitely also be put into programs to increase the infrastructure here in Romania. And this will end into higher public tenders. And we hope that we will see also this process here in Romania. Then we have the distribution companies, the price increase, and the logistic companies. Okay, they are still facing a lot with price increases. Adrian was mentioning this already in the ship industry, but there is an overall huge development of price increases, and we will see also for the manufacturing industry that we will talk more about the price increase than about Corona or any other measures, due to the fact that the Green Deal will have effects until 2030, 2050, but the Green Deal will have effects in the next 1 and 2 years already on the price dynamics. And this will also affect the manufacturing industry. So this is something that all the manufacturing industries companies have to have a very, very good look at this very carefully. What is the actual mood? What is the actual sentiment of the German-Romanian business community here in Romania? How satisfied are you with the economic environment from Romania? So we have reached 50% saying that they are very satisfied. 37% are satisfied, and only 15% are not satisfied. It's quite a good. I would say, to summarize, it's quite a good picture. It's quite a good sentiment. It's quite a good mood, actually, in terms of investment climate. here in Romania of German and Romanian companies. If you have a look actually, how do you assess the prospects of the country's economy for the current year compared to the previous year? It's another question. So we can see that there's a lot of optimism here in 2021 of German companies. So when we compare these figures to 2019 or 2020, we see quite satisfied or very satisfied companies here in Romania, and the unsatisfied companies are only 26% of the survey. Yeah, maybe some general words before I come to this. You will find actually this is just some questions of our newly of our very new survey. We will publish this survey in this week or latest the beginning of next week. I would be happy if you consult our homepage in order to get the full report of the survey, where you can find more information about the German-Romanian sentiment regarding the business outlook. Yeah, then I come to the last aspects. What are the challenges that are still to be faced by German companies in Romania? It's just a selection, yeah. And lots of these things we'll discuss also by other speakers, and I think we will have a good discussion about it. We will face still we need a higher flexibility of the labor law, of the working modalities actually. This is something still needed. What we wish to have is a continuation of, for example, of the Kurzarbeiter scheme, not only in the pandemics period, but we need the Kurzarbeiter scheme also in non-pandemic periods, because we think it's a very good instrument for companies who are in financial difficult times. And there are all these labor law aspects which needs to be updated due to our experience from the Corona pandemic. There's still a big problem in the technological literacy when we want to implement digitalization, when we want to work in an industrial 4.0 environment. We need the skills for this. So this is a cornerstone. This is a ground level aspects. Actually, we need more technological literacy here in Romania, and we need to update also our educational infrastructure. As I said, we will have a huge impact from the Green Deal, so tackling climate change. This topic will definitely have a huge impact on the manufacturing industry here in Romania. The ongoing topic of cybersecurity and like Adrian was already mentioned, the price fluctuation of raw materials. This will continue. Last slide, last aspects. Almost half of the companies, when we asked the companies, when do you expect a return of the pre-corona sales of your company, almost half of the companies said that this will be in 2021. To be exact, 47%, 42 plus 5%, and the rest thinks it will be a little bit later. 5% they are saying that it will never be the case anymore. For more information, it's a very new publication that we have published. You will find it on the homepage. For more information about the German business here in Romania and the bilateral relation, I can only highly recommend you our business location Romania publication that contains a lot of more statistical data. The last thing that I would like to say here in this ground, to maybe to share some thoughts also and to prepare a little bit our discussion. Adrian was mentioning this already with the microchips. I would love to see more engagement of Romania in the, let's say, in the already existing discussion on the European level. What I want to say exactly is we need an involvement and engagement of Romania in the so-called IPSE projects. It means the European project, important project of the European Union, IPCEI, IPSE, it's written, and there are 3 ongoing IPSE projects. One is on battery, on hydrogen, and on microelectronics. Romania being an industrial site, being an industrial nation, economy, we need a stronger involvement in these kind of projects from Romania, because it will definitely design the economic development in Europe, and so also for Romania. I thank you for your attention. These were like a horse ride, I would say, a horse ride through the German-Romanian sentiment and situation here in Romania. Thank you very much.